Welcome to my channel. Make sure you hit the like button, share, and subscribe. So today was kind of a quiet day. So on these quiet days, I usually meditate. Something might catch my attention for the day, and I'll just be curious about that. And I would just be thinking about the details or looking at the details, and the whole story will come to me. So this is the scenario that I thought of today. When I thought about the possibility of Diddy planning the demise of Big from the beginning. Okay? Now let's take a look at this picture right here. You got Big. You got Stevie J on the side of Big over there in the corner. You got Diddy and you got D-Rock. But D-Rock is totally removed from the moment. He's looking down on the floor. His facial expression and body language is very, very suspect. It looks like D-Rock knows something that the rest of them or didn't know or didn't care about. And Jill had said that the day of the party, that vibe party, earlier in that day, that D-Rock had disappeared with Diddy. And he never used to go nowhere with Diddy, but he was going with Diddy all day. And this was after Gene Deal told D-Rock to make sure that Big did not leave the hotel room that night, because Gene Deal had gotten word that people were out to get them and somebody was out to kill them, okay? Now, he's the orchestrator of Big's career. And it's like a story. Now, we have to remember this, who Diddy's mentor was. Diddy's mentor was Clive Davis. So I'm going to give y'all a little bit of history on Clive Davis. Clive Davis was responsible for, well, let me tell you who was with him. These three women. Janis Joplin, who passed away of a drug overdose. Phyllis Hyman, who they say passed away of a drug overdose. And Whitney Houston, who they say passed away of a drug overdose. Now, allegedly, from the stories that has been revealed, since the internet and people come out and start talking, about things they may have thought about before. But sometimes when you hear things in the news that's absolute, or someone is being accused of something, you remember things that you probably wondered about before, but you didn't have an explanation. But once something comes up, it's like you can connect the dots. So I'm thinking about Clive Davis, and I wanted to do a story about the fact that these three singers who were signed with him passed away from drug overdoses. But I never got around to it. So let's look at Clive Davis, who, by the way, and this is no offense to the LGBTQ community, who has came out as bisexual, right? Now, since in his time especially, it probably was a little bit more taboo for these people to admit that they were attracted to the same sex. So I think sometimes these people have these roles and these positions where they want to get whatever they want. And if that's what they want, that's what they're going to go after. If that's what turns them on, they're going to go after it, whatever turns them on, because they have the power and the resources to indulge in what they like to indulge in, okay?
Result of being around that man, Sean Puffy Combs, I don't sleep to this day. I have a problem sleeping to this day. Like, yo, man, I'm here to work, man. I ain't sang in a week. I mean, I'm 13 years old, and I'm telling him, look, you're going to put me in the studio, man. You got Biggie Smalls in there. You got Craig Mack in there. I'm not here to party with you. I don't want to go to the clubs. Matter of fact, I'm too young to even be in here. Why you got me in clubs? We would fight. We would tussle. Back in the days when he...
So let's just say we got a white man in the industry, and he's attracted to young men. And young men come through the industry all the time. So if you want this record contract or you want me to set up a meeting with this person or open the door for you in this area, then you have to give me something back. Okay.
Puff and Usher did have a situation, and that situation led Usher to the hospital. But how dare you say a man that groomed you gonna give him a pass? Remember, Usher, we was at the Swiss Hotel. Puff had Kim in the room, had one of Keith Sweat's baby mothers in the big
So let's
room
just say,
outside the master bedroom.
hypothetically,
He came
he
outside in
taught
his
this
robe.
style to
She gave him a fellatio
Diddy
right
because
there.
Diddy was one of
His
the
back
ones
was
that
turned to
came
me.
to
You
that was
knocked on
down
the
for
door.
whatever
I
it
came and
takes.
opened the door
I'm
for
going to
you.
be a rich
Puff
person,
went in the
and
room.
maybe he had
You
a
came in the
tendency
room
of
and kissed that
maybe he
girl
was
dead in her
already
mouth.
be attracted to men, and like I said, at those times, it wasn't good to be open with that, especially in hip hop. Okay, so he already had to suppress that part of him. Just listen to me, feel me out here, okay? So he gets in the industry and he gets this little bit of power. But he's working with Andre Harrell, and Andre Harrell also came up underneath Clive Davis. And there were sayings that he was um, intimate with Clive Davis as well as Diddy. So this is, mind you, at the same time, rumors were swirling around about Russell Simmons, okay? How he used to smoke sherm or dust, angel dust, and mess around with men, okay? This was rumors before the internet, all right? So I just want y'all to understand how I connect these dots and how when I speak with, like I really feel this way because of the things that I've heard and seen along the way. And now that everything's coming out, things that probably went over my head or I was curious about but didn't have an answer to, these details are coming in and making it more clear. So he's coming up as an artist. Before he got fired from Uptown Records, mind you, the first terrible incident he was involved in was the trampling of the children that attended a celebrity basketball game, and somehow a stampede occurred and 9 people passed away at that function. And I remember I wanted to go to that function. There was so many headliners on there, and I wanted to go, but I was like, nah, it's going to be too crowded. I remember thinking that way. But anyway, um, so you have this person who gets away with this uh, irresponsibility because he was liable for that, if you ask me. This function that you had with only one exit, it wasn't secure, and then you and your people just left these people there and closed the door on them. You know what I'm saying? So um, that should have been addressed, but they got away with it. People were blaming him and Heavy D, but I don't know how deep Heavy D's involvement was in this. But getting back to Diddy, so you got this young person who is very motivated. He's a very um, motivated type of person, a very ambitious dude, very ambitious, and he's willing to do whatever. So he's getting a taste of fame, and he goes a little overboard while he's at Uptown with Andre Harrell. Andre fires him. And this is when Wolf and Riz and a couple of his other friends he grew up with were sustaining him while he was working on getting a deal from another label to start his own label, which became Bad Boy. He finally got a deal from Arista or Universal. Okay, those two factions of the industry. So he gets in. He already had Big and Craig Mack. But Big takes off with the first single, Party and Bullshit.
Cause all we wanna do is bullshit, and we party, and bullshit, and we party, and bullshit.
It's an underground buzz. And it was such a it was a song that got attention. Even though it was a new artist, it made you want to say, "Who is this?" And this is when Pac and Biggie became friends because Pac really likes that song. He thought Big had a lot of talent, and him and Big connected and had this bond. But all the time, now we're finding out that this dude, Diddy, was jealous of their relationship the whole time. And then we're finding out that Diddy and Big didn't really respect him too much. Like they wasn't feeling him like that. They wasn't feeling him. And I think Tupac was looking for a position whereas he would be able to take Big with him instead of Big being with Diddy or get him out of his contract. I think they were because there was mentions that Big was gonna go with Outlaw, okay? Be one of the outlaws. So around this time now, Tupac begins to hang with Haitian Jack and them. A group of local dudes from Cypress, East New York, from the streets. They getting money, and they're kind of extorting some of the artists allegedly. Okay, they were a little older than me, so I don't know exactly personally, what they was into. But what I do know is that they were known as they would stick you up. Okay, these dudes. So they was hanging out in the industry and they was getting a lot of buzz. Haitian Jack was even dating Madonna at one time. He was managing Madonna. And I'm sure you guys heard of Haitian Jack. If not, you can look him up on YouTube. You can hear the story. But him, Tut, and a few others wound up in this, mixed up with this Jimmy, I forgot his doggone name. The dude that was from Brooklyn that got into all of that mess. And they were trying to blame the Tupac thing on him. Now, this is so wild, y'all. Now, Diddy wasn't really standing out amongst these type of dudes in the industry that was coming through because he was around the ones that was like that, but he wasn't really like that. He would fight you, I heard, but he wasn't like the real street gritty dudes were that was around him. So you got Jimmy. Let me see what his name is, because I don't like when I keep forgetting his last name. And I know y'all probably screaming at the screen going, Jimmy, I think it's with an R, okay? Um, and he was beefing with 50 and all of that mess went down. Um, Jimmy Tupac. Jimmy Henchman. Jimmy Henchman. So all these type of strong dudes from the streets that had a strong reputation that wasn't these are the type of guys, let me put it like this. In this world, to me, what I see is you have two type of men. You have some men that'll bow down to be successful, and you have some men that won't. They're gonna try to do it another way. They're not gonna compromise themselves. Okay? So, and maybe these guys are bisexual. They just don't have a limit in their sexuality. But the problem with it is that anybody who comes through trying to get a career or something, they have to compromise themselves some sort of way, and they use that to blackmail them. If you don't get down with this, then we're gonna, set you up, take pictures of you, or get a video of you, or spread a rumor that you're gay. And that was kind of like a no-no in hip hop at the time. So you got this dude, he gets big. He got Jimmy Henchman, all of them around him. Pac and Big is tight as thick as thieves, but Big is telling him, because Big is trying to get off the streets, okay? And Big is telling him, yo, stay away from them dudes when he sees him. But Tupac is Tupac, and they were buying him. And like I said before, the dudes in the streets had more money, it seemed like, than the rappers. So they was buying Pac jewelry, Rolex watches, and gifting him all this stuff. And, you know, so he was hanging out with them because Tupac had a bad contract. He didn't really have no money. So he was with Interscope, but I think they was doing Pac dirty and wasn't giving him no money. Um, so Pac started running with these dudes, okay? And here's this guy in the background who's diabolical, who's ambitious, who has sort of feminine ways as far as jealousy is concerned. One of them men that want to be, all attention go to them type dudes. Narcissists to the 50th power. Okay? Yeah, Big is a great talent, but you my artist. You under me. Just like he was under other people. And he had to do things and compromise himself. So everybody that come through the door, through your company, you know what I'm saying? That you're not really allowed to really run how you want to anyway. Because no matter what it looks like to us, you still got to answer to somebody. You still got to answer to somebody. So you got an attitude about that. Like that kind of burns you. So anybody that comes in, you want to do them like you was done. So you got these young men coming, they talented. You see their talent, but they're not going to be successful just because of their talent. You're going to have to bow down to me like I had to bow down. You're going to have to show me. So you got, these two different types of men. Some of them will say, hey, we down for that, and some of them won't. And I believe Biggie and Pac was definitely two that would not. I think that they were tested in many ways, and people were afraid of them being together. They would have took the whole industry. It would have been hard. This is how I'm looking at it from their point of view. Like nobody's gonna eat, but these two gonna have the game locked down, and ain't nobody else gonna ever be able to get no money or nothing. But that wasn't true, guys, because when hip hop was at its height to me, when I saw it really begin to grow, and you have really, really good, great MCs, it made everybody around them because they knew they had to come correct. They couldn't come with no bullshit. So if the people on the top was good, you had the people that was trying to get their spot. They wasn't playing. They was coming with some shit. Okay, so it kind of brought the game up when you got these real dudes doing it. You know that you have to step your game up in order to even get in somewhere with these guys. Being on top. And at the same time, they was loved. They was loved and hated at the same time. But this guy, Diddy, is looking at Big and Pac, and he knows that after being associated with Big, most of the attention that was coming to him was coming through Big. Craig Mack had attention with um, Flavor in Your Ear, but when Big came out with Juicy and then the little remix Dolly My Baby, and he appeared on the Mary J. Blige remix. He was doing little mixtapes and freestyles, and he was really blowing up. He was everywhere. He was taking over the airwaves. And it seemed like anything that came out that he was on, it was popping. So Big was solidifying himself. And at this time, Pac had got in trouble, and they had tried to rob him at Quad Studios. And here is the diabolical Diddy. Just listen to my scenario, y'all. He has Big. Big does this song, Who Shot Ya? He releases the song right after Pac gets shot and goes to jail. He releases this Who Shot Ya song. And everybody thought that Big was referring to Pac because around this time, Pac is talking all this shit about Big. He's saying Big set him up. And the streets knew that Big didn't set him up, but Pac was doing interviews with Vibe magazine because we didn't have the internet and all these publications saying that Diddy and Big set him up. Now, in one of his songs, Against All Odds, he did name the real dudes that had, did something to him. He did name Tuck and Haitian Jack, I think. I think he named them too. So that's how everybody knew that he knew exactly who did that to him. But I think that Diddy had sat down with Suge and convinced Suge because what he likes to do is to me, in my opinion, he likes to get close to these dudes, but he's afraid of them at the same time. So if he can find a way, if y'all don't know about these type of dudes in the street, that they might not step to you, but if they can find a way to get rid of you, they will use that way to get rid of you. They might not have as big an army as you or the resources, or maybe they not killers, but they will find a way to get rid of you. And this is Diddy. He's manipulated everything from the background. He sees this as the perfect opportunity to release this song. And even though there was a little bit of tension between Pac, after he got shot and that song was released, that's what took it over the edge. So then Suge goes and bails him out, bails Pac out, and then this big old East Coast West Coast shit is going on. And even though Big wasn't involved in things that Diddy was involved in, like the Jake shooting and all that, Big wasn't around when that happened, when Suge's friend got killed in Atlanta. Big wasn't involved in that, but somehow it turned into a Death Row versus um, Bad Boy. But maybe in the forefront, it was Pac and Big. Okay, now, I was really mad at Pac because I was like, damn, Pac, you know that Big ain't do that. You know what I'm saying? You know that he hit your gun after the whole shit went down at the studios when he got shot. You know Big took your gun and hit it in the piano and then brought it up to you in the hospital. You never said nothing about that. You never said he tried to come see you in the hospital. He was by himself. He didn't even have nobody with him. You know what I'm saying? So once Pac got in his head that you did something to him, and I'm surprised that Pac let this man play chess with him like this. Like, this didn't even seem like Pac would let a person like Diddy play chess with him like this and play this game with him. But they weren't looking for anything like that to happen. It wasn't something that was done all the time. This was the first time, really, that I believe this type of stuff was set up. After Scott LaRock, which was done years and years before this happened, at least 10, 11 years. Him raping this girl, him getting locked up and getting shot, because he always used to be over here on the East Coast before he got shot. He was angry, so he was taking it out on somebody. You know what I'm saying? He was saying, like, Big, you supposed to be the Don. How you don't know who shot me? Listen, New York City is not like other places. Like, people could do things randomly. You don't really have no clicks. You might find out a little later because niggas start bragging and shit, but you're not going to know that fast, or nobody's going to come up to you and tell you what they plan to do to you. Now, we could get a feeling that these dudes over there is shiesty. And I think that's what Big had. Like, these niggas is shiesty. And he told Pac to stay away from them. Like I said before, Big wasn't trying to be involved in no street stuff. He was really focused on his career. And he didn't want to be involved in this back and forth stuff going on. But, Pac is going to be Pac. And he's going to do what he wants to do. He didn't think it was that serious. He didn't understand the dynamics of the people he was around and how shiesty they could be. So he says to Gene Deal, and thank God Gene Deal revealed this. I don't, they stopping my money. I'm tired of this. I'm tired of this. I just want it to end. I don't care if Suge go to jail. I don't care if Biggie DIE. And I don't care if Pac DIE. So this makes me think. The first whole solo album you released of his was named Ready to Die. So if you was a person that was that diabolical and you was creating a narrative, you covered all angles. You came in with the album, first album, Ready to Die. Second album was Life After Death.
I have a secret to tell everyone. And I feel like it would paint a better picture for what we're dealing with here. This man right here is highly, highly corrupted. And he's up there in the chain too. I have a story and a picture to share with you regarding these two. So this is a picture from my uncle's family album that has been in the family for many years. Something that is very special about this picture here is that this was taken on March 8th, 1997. And the significance of that date is Notorious B.I.G. died on March 9th, 1997. So in this photo here, this was at B.I.G.'s Life After Death album promotion. Like, he was promoting his album. He was in L.A. I don't remember the nightclub. I would have to ask my uncle. So from what I can remember my uncle telling me, he was across the room and he had saw B.I.G. was in his own section. And he was trying to wave and get his attention, and then he caught, B.I.G.'s attention, and he asked, like, can I come over? And so B.I.G. like gives him the wave, like, come on over, and lets him into his section. B.I.G. got some drinks, and him and my uncle were having a drink. And what I remember him telling me is that he sounded tired. Like, I don't know if he was just performing or something like that. I don't know what he was doing, but he said he sounded very, like, exhausted, like his energy was depleted physically and spiritually. And I also didn't know that Biggie was on crutches at this time. My uncle started asking him, like, questions about the album. I don't know if he was asking him, like, what each song meant, but they were just talking about, like, the production of the album or whatever. In that conversation, B.I.G. goes, "This is my last album and I'm done with Bad Boy. Like, this is it. I want to do my own thing." It's just too obvious with the timeline of his death and the release of the album. And him telling my uncle that he is leaving that label and he dies the next day. I know who did it. He did that for a reason. Because he knew that he would promote the hell out of that album. By he, I'm referring Diddy. Because of his death. Look at Tupac, for example. He's making more money after death. And then the album is literally Life After Death. And it's sick, it's cold-blooded. Because this man produced his last album and put his blood, sweat, and tears into the album, was exhausted, was at the finish line. I feel like there was a corrupted deal going on. And this is just my intuition popping out. I feel as though there was a deal. And the deal was to produce an album and then, I don't know, like, be released or pay everything back. Whatever the deal was, this man did not play fair. I can tell you that right now. Think about it. The album name is Life After Death. This man knew that he was going to take him out the whole time. The whole time. Because death sells. When a rapper that has made significant impact has passed over, people, of course, are going to buy that album. Because that was the last album he produced, that he was working on. That money is going to him. He wasn't able to leave Bad Boy in time. So that money is going to him.
Knowing the person Diddy is now and how diabolical he is, you put that story together and you be like, wow, this nigga, it was like a script. And doing the tribute song and all that and all the acting, then they're even saying that Faith might have been in on it, that Diddy might have put Faith on Big, which I don't know if it's true. That's alleged. But at that time, we were so oblivious. I see now they be putting chicks on people, but I never thought it was going on back then. So you got the Ready to Die. You got the even the way he was dressed. It has significance on that album and him being in the cemetery. Symbolism. But I think Diddy had no idea. I mean, Big had no idea how diabolical this dude was. And Gene wound up talking about how Diddy found out that Big had wrote Lil Kim's whole album because somehow with Big's royalties, he sold them to Diddy for 200,000. So Diddy was kind of like playing with the money, and Big was put in desperate situations because he's doing all this work. He's not really getting paid, and you giving him some type of excuse, and you knew that he wasn't well versed, and he took advantage of that. So Big wound up selling his publishing to Diddy for $200,000. But he was also helping a lot of people. He had his own label going, Undies with Undie. He had to put in funds for that. He was building things for people. He was helping somebody build a barbershop. He was building a house for his mother. He was running out of funds. Look, Diddy, I need money. I need you to show me how to get this money. He told us that at the time Big passed away, he was teaching him how to manage, how the things about the industry and how to be someone behind, the scenes like him. But that was all game. He was luring Big into a trap. It was a whole big setup. That's what it seems like to me, guys. After I look at this really closely and I put the pieces together, and now that we're seeing his real personality, Diddy's real personality, I feel that he's fully capable of doing something like this to Big. After he was getting a major distribution deal, which would have been at the time $52 million more than him, because we were told that he was given $30 million from Arista and Universal, but we're just learning now it was $10 million. It was never 30. So all the details are coming out. So you lured him over there to Los Angeles to record his album, saying, "Okay, we're gonna discuss your royalties. Come with me to LAX, and we're gonna discuss this and get everything right." You know what I'm saying? With the promise of him making some money. Plus, he had his own tour set up in Europe because he had to get some money. You wasn't giving him no money, so you promised him all this. And Gene Deal said a million times how people was telling everybody not to go nowhere because there was things that was happening that showed that them LA people wasn't too friendly with Big and them. Okay, if I was looking at the story like how I'm looking at it, it was definitely a great setup. Now somehow Eric Von Zip, who is Diddy's godfather, winds up being the one that gives the gun to someone so that they can shoot allegedly Kiki and his peoples, so they could shoot Pac over there in Los Angeles. Somebody who's very closely affiliated to Diddy. He's no longer with us now, but he was very closely, and his name was all up in that situation with the 40 Glock that was used to kill Pac. So it looks like this dude had a plan, and he had his plan all along, what he was going to do. And whoever got in the way, they would get knocked down. Whoever's trying to go against me and they not on the same shit I'm on in this business, and they're not as motivated as me or ambitious as me, there's certain things they won't do, they gotta go from my cipher. And I don't want them talking. So I always found it strange how Heavy D passed away like that. That was strange to me. And then Andre Harrell passed right after him. So this man looks like he had his plan the whole time. Now Rolling Stone is also reporting now that they were going to release an edition of their magazine geared towards Big's new album, and he told them, no, make the article about me, the interview about me. He's dead. When you go back and look at that time, I would have never thought it was him. I mean, I had my reservations here and there as time went on. But when you really go back to that time and the effect it had on the music industry, Diddy is a really ruthless piece of shit if he really did this. And I think that Rolling Stone mentioning it in this investigative piece that they did in their magazine, where they documented their investigation findings, for them to mention that Diddy was jealous of Big and Pac, something's gonna pop off, y'all. And I just can't wait for it to come out. I can't wait for it to come out. But this dude is very diabolical. Think about it. He made them name his first album, Ready to Die, and the second one, Life After Death. Whose life after death? Your life after death, Diddy? Wicked. Wicked, y'all. Anyway, I'm going to be cutting this clip up because I'm recording it while it's fresh on my mind, but I'm going to put in some inserts and pictures and videos as well. Let me know what y'all think about this hypotheses of mine in the comments. Communicate. Talk to me. I'll talk back. Peace and love.
May's response to Diddy.
Let's start with your mother. Your mother got the receipts. Everything is in your mother's name. That's the one who got the receipts. You need more proof, nigga? Biggie ain't here, so Big can't give you no receipts. He dead. Craig Mack can't give you receipts. He dead. What are you talking about? Who else? Black Rob can't give you receipts. He dead. And everybody else you made sign paperwork so they can't talk about what I'm talking about. I'm the only one with the guts. And I sign it. Cause I ain't need the money. All money ain't good money. Remember that. Remember that. Remember that. You know who to play with it.
Tree time.